wanna trap like. Bitch, you wanna trap like.
Well, at long last, it all comes down to this one final race for a shootout in the Wild Wild West. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Auto Club Speedway, a 2-mile behemoth that will play host to the final round of the L-TAC Cup Series. My name is Little Rampo, bringing you all of the action here tonight from start to finish from this 100-lap, 200-mile race. It is going to be a hard-fought show here tonight from everyone involved as we finally get set to go racing for the 21st and final race of the 5th season of the L-TAC All Street Media Cup Series. Holden McGill enters the ring well into the points lead, and he is trying to see if he can just hang on at the top for one more week as he will try to pick off the likes of Ryan Dingler and more just behind to see if he can't put himself up towards the top end of the points boards. I can tell you right now, it is going to be a very wild ride involved here for everyone here in the show tonight. You can see right there, up by almost 30 points ahead of Ryan Dingler. He has 25 clear. With only 17 drivers here today, it is still possible for Ryan Dingler to technically take that title if McGill scores those stage points and finishes last. But boy, it is ever going to be a very, very difficult challenge for that number 21 car to find himself with any kind of momentum here for the season finale. Of course, when you look at how things are going to be shaken up weather-wise over the course of the evening, right, it'll be only 79 degrees Fahrenheit down on the racetrack. It is looking to be a relatively cool track surface down on the racetrack, which is good for tonight's race. It's been a lot of very hot races, at least in terms of track temperature as of late. So to see that these guys finally have got themselves with a good opportunity to kind of take a little bit of breather, get some respite in there for this final race, is no doubt going to be a nice sight to see. And we'll see if the cooler track times will potentially even throw some drivers off here for this final race of the season as well. Qualifying is very much underway at the moment from the Auto Club Speedway, as many drivers currently circling around the racetrack trying to put down those opening laps. Among those is Anthony Bussati, crossed the start-finish line this time by. Currently sits 13th. He'll try to improve, and he'll put himself up into 4th. Right on board with Bear Morton for a lap around Auto Club Speedway. Speeds nearing 200 miles an hour, well over 190 at the end of the straight, as Bear Morton will put himself up to the number 8 spot for the driver out of Louisville, Kentucky. So a good show then for Bear Morton here, and that is right now the last driver that was on track waiting to qualify. So we are going to take ourselves with a step back, and we'll be back with your starting grid. You're watching the season finale in the L-TAC Cup Series on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where qualifying is just coming to a close, and that means we are, of course, ready to kick off racing action here tonight from the season finale of the L-TAC Cup Series from the Auto Club Speedway. So let's take a rundown now, top to bottom, of what your field's going to be looking like as we get set to duke it out for 200 miles of racing action in the Wild West, and it is going to be starting on the pole, the defending two-time champion, trying to go for 3. Holden McGill on the front row for Badger Race with Ryan Dingler beside him to lock out a Badger 1-2. Sean Kaiser sits at the number 3 spot with JD down in 4th. Anthony Bussati brings it home out of the top 5 with Jeffrey Souza down in 6th. Jeffrey Souza, your lucky draw driver. If he wins this race, he gets an extra 3 bonus points. Grant Peterson sits at the number 7 spot with Bear Morton down in 8th for Bandit Motorsports. All-Americans Spencer Ray will start in 9th with B&H's Sean Deal to close out the top 10. Cole Fralick sits at 11th out of the Mid-South with Stefan Purcell for Shaky Bake down in 12th. Frank Flores, Stefan Purcell's teammate, down in 13th with Stefan Purog in 14th. Josh McDougall is at the number 15 spot with Justin Wilson in 16th. Austin McColgan and Nathaniel Ames close out the 18-car field, getting set to rumble to life from the Auto Club Speedway. Just waiting now on Bear Morton and Justin Wilson to see if we'll be getting 2 of our last drivers onto the grid here. But for now, everyone lined up and ready to go. So we'll take this time to tell you what's coming up on Green Flag TV over the coming days and week. On March 2nd, tomorrow night, the TNGG IL Truck Series will swing out to round 2 of their championship down in Atlanta Motor Speedway at 7:55 p.m. Eastern Time. Then on March 3rd, on Sunday night, the ASRL Next Gen Cup Series will have its swing out to Lernerville Speedway at 7:25 p.m. Eastern Time. The OMSRL Truck Series will make its return on March the 5th, as they're going to be looking set to go racing at the world's fastest paperclip down at Martinsville Speedway. And then, of course, later on throughout the week, Beer League will be at Long Beach. The Speed Cup Series will be down as well at Phoenix Raceway. So quite a few races taking a little bit more of a trip out west for a few of our Cup Series racing action. And well, the field started to roll out from pit road this time by, and we'll get set to see who's going to come out on top of this one. 15 drivers are entering the arena that are still in the chase, but mathematically only Dingler realistically has a shot to catch his Badger Race teammate. But McGill so far has been nigh unstoppable. Nobody has been able to even come close to the back bumper of that number 21 car. So whether we're actually going to be seeing anybody take that top step other than that 21 car, well, I'm thinking it's a bit of a long shot. McGill has proven time and time again this season about why he is one of the best drivers on the grid and why he deserves to go for this third title and his second title going back-to-back. Of course, taking that championship first in season number 2 and then again in season 4, with Matt Rucci being the only driver to prevent McGill from going for a 4-season streak. The iRacing pace car will work its way in towards turn numbers 3 and 4, and we are happy as always that you are joining us here on this beautiful Friday night. The pace car makes that dive down and in towards pit road. Time to get this party started for the final time tonight. The green flag's out. We are racing at Auto Club. Holden McGill leads lap number 1 to green, but Ryan Dingler trying to attack him down to the inside line as he thunders out of turn numbers 3 and 4 and down the front straightaway. Dingler will take the lead down to the turn number 1 and further behind. A bit of checking up is going to put these guys now 3 wide as they look to rumble down the back straightaway. Overall, very good racing action so far here tonight from this 2-mile oval all the way out in California. Right now, it is the number 8 car that leads the way. McGill, though, trying to run him back down just behind. Good bit of 2x2 action, and now Pirog trying to open up 3 wide. He'll look to the inside of McDougal and Flores. Flores pushing Jeffrey Souza up to the top side of the racetrack. And for Jeffrey Souza, it has not been a good start to this night. The lucky draw driver started in 5th. He's already down to 11th, and that risk of losing even more positions. The 62 of JD trying to get up and around McGill, and now make that 2 different cars that have bumped down the points leader. Of course, keep in mind that McGill right now is very secure with that bumper. He can afford to lose a couple of positions, and I have a feeling McGill knows this. That's why we're not seeing fight out any of these momentum runs too hard, at least right now, in the early going. 3 wide again, Purcell with Ray on the bottom, and Freilich up on top. And Freilich driving this one way in deep around the outside, trying to pick off the 57, as Spencer Ray will end up dropping towards the tail end. Oh, and a bit of a chop there across the nose from the 57 to the 1. Certainly a chop, but nothing that will result in any kind of yellow flag for now. We remain packed up exactly where things are at. Holden McGill has fought his way back to the number 2 spot, getting around JD. Further behind, Cole Freilich this last lap by, putting in the fastest lap of the race. And trying to see if he can keep that momentum going. Anthony Mussad getting the bit crossed up on the exit of turn number 1 as he and Grant Peterson now going to go side by side down in the turn numbers 3 and 4. Grant Peterson and more in the fray as look at Usati tracking up at the inside line. He'll side slap the outside wall in his attempts to try and chase down Cole Fraley. Rosati back to the bottom lane. Grant Peterson. Can he try to make a look? Trying to drive around to the outside. Spencer Ray just behind. Can he get any kind of momentum working with him? Seven Purcell is in here, kind of in the mix as well. And up front, Ryan Dingler and Holden McGill looking to go side by side potentially. Not going to get any kind of room though, as McGill will continue to power through down the bottom side. Now, Dingler washes up across the nose, and McGill going to size up and overtake right down to the inside line again. But here comes Fraley trying to make that third lane work way up top. And side by side for the race lead down the front straightaway. Dingler pokes in line. Fraley makes up second. Now trying to size up a pass for the race lead. Can he get in and around the number 8 of Dingler? Closing in down the front straightaway, side by side. And now put Fraley in way to the top shelf. Trying to carry this one the long way around Dingler, and he's got it. Cole Fraley to the point. Good show there for the number 26 Misery Motor Club machine, as he's going to take that one down into turn 3. Dingler trying to reopen that attack to the inside line, but no room as it stands. And while a few scrapes have been had to the walls, for the most part, everything's been kept nice and tidy. Spencer Ray now taking Fraley's advice, as he's going to now look to lunge around the outside line. And as I say that, Dingler for a moment pulled back alongside Fraley for the race lead. So that Hex Armor Camry still not giving in, as he's going to try to take that one down to the inside. Looking to try to pick off the number 26. Dingler bobbles from the bottom and will just manage to hang on to that one, as to his outside is the number 26 of Cole Fraley in that big lunge down to the turn number 1. This is the battle for the lead. The 26 way up to the outside wall. Dingler trying to hang that one down low, but just look at the drive up the corner that Fraley is able to get, as Dingler forced to tuck back in line. But a solid effort, and now the top 4 trying to break away from the rest of the pack behind. Already a 10th of the way down, 10 down, 90 to go. And now JD trying to upset the battle for second. Pit windows tonight, we're looking to be somewhere around the 44 to 48 lap range. So still a good ways away from pit stops yet here tonight. This is going to be, we believe, a 2-stop race. That is, of course, to be expected with how high speed this track is and how much time you spend fully pinning that throttle to the floor. Dingler retakes the race lead, as Fraley will drop to second. And now the 26 trying to lunge around that third groove. Gets a huge drive down the back straightaway. And look at how powerful that run off of 3 combined with the draft is, as Fraley going to send that one deep into turn numbers 3 and 4. Slide job for the 26, and Dingler tracking up from the bottom, nearly puts Fraley into the outside wall. Fraley back to the point. Now JD shoved by Holden McGill, going to attack down the inside of Dingler. And 3 wide for the lead once again. Dingler will end up losing 2 positions as JD goes from 3rd to 1st and back to 2nd, as he's now going to be side by side with Fraley for the race lead. This is why Auto Club was chosen as the season finale. It is just such a phenomenal track that puts on entertaining racing no matter where you go, no matter what time of year. Fralick again punches his ticket into the front. And how about McGill, who's been kind of waiting in the wings? Now all of a sudden he's snuck up to the front and he's trying to now make that move for the lead again. Fralick has his nose chopped off. He'll immediately cut right back to the bottom. Not going to take that one lying down. Fralick back to the inside, but here comes McGill. Back with the crossover at 1 and 2. Whoa, and now big loose moment. Fralick into the outside wall hard. Into the outside wall, and Musati spins down low. Tags the inside fence. But no caution, single car spin on the back straightaway. Spins that thing back up into traffic. And now the caution flag will be forced to fly. Yellow flag number 1 at lap 15, and that all started with a big moment on the back straightaway with Anthony Musati. Well, it started with Cole Fraley getting into the outside wall, and Anthony Musati got loose. Dingler also was bobbling from the bottom and tracked up. There, Fraley hits the outside wall. Musati drifts down and gets run over by Dingler behind. And that spins this 49 car all the way to the inside, and he's going to make some pretty heavy contact with the inside barrier at speed. There, Fraley clipped the wall, and then just around he goes. And that is it's not the hardest of hits, but it's definitely not a pleasant hit into the inside wall. This is on board. Just the wrong place at the wrong time. Should be able, in theory, to get that car back sorted. This will be on board with Dingler. Oh, and I thought Dingler hit from behind. He did not. That was, I think, all net code from behind. And now we've got the field coming into pit road. Jeffrey Souza, the lone driver, is staying out. This is a bold call for the number 14. While everyone else is into pit road for the first time tonight. Stefan Purcell taking fuel only. He will leave pit road on a 7-second stop, and it's a very mixed bag of calls. Flores, Ames, also on fuel only. Everyone else taking 4. One more look at this incident from the air. Watch as Fralick tags the wall, then that is a weird incident for the 49 car, and he just ran over the 26. I thought it got hit from behind. That was indeed not the case. Self-inflicted error there is my reckoning. Well, caution number 1 out of the Speedway at Auto Club. We'll be back in a moment as we get back to green flag racing in just a little while. Lights out aboard the iRacing pace car. We get back to green flag racing this next time by Jeffrey Souza and Stefan Purcell. Both back onto the racetrack. Souza did not come into pit road under this last caution. Purcell came in but took field only on the strategy. And it is going to be pretty wild to figure out how everything is going to shake on up here as we'll get back to green flag racing for lap 19 out of 100. With caution flag number 1 coming out for a solo car spin on the back straightaway. Green flag back in the air, this time by, and we are racing once more. Souza leads the way down into turn numbers 1 and 2, but how long is this going to last? McGill already trying to size up a move around the outside. He's trying to take JD win, but Daniel Anderson gets a bit loose. He's going to just pedal to the bottom of the racetrack. And Purcell already starting to fall back as McGill making a very quick lunge back to the front of the field. Top 6 on a breakaway, 7th on back, still side by side. Nathaniel Ames trying to get up and around Spencer Ray, the number 1 car, looking to launch that one deep around the outside. Further behind, a little bit of a bobble there for a few drivers. Pirog, Kaiser, and more almost going around. And now up the road, McGill back to the inside. And the McGill Camper Sales 21 Camry is back to the lead. Working lap 21 as Souza gave him a big push down the front straightaway. Now Purcell nearly hooking Freilich and nearly getting to Dingler as well. Peterson will be put alongside the 57 car, and Spencer Ray, as Purcell kind of wiggling around a little bit. That Tide car does not look too pleased at the moment. Curious to see if this is going to impact his overall pace at all, as that 57 car has not been able to realistically get the hammer down too well off these corners. Oh, he's going to drift down and nearly get into Spencer Ray. Purcell struggling to keep that car pointing in a straight line. Further back, 3, almost 4. As McColgan will get around Ames along with Deal. Musati going to blitz by 2, as will Sean Kaiser. Bear Morton goes evasive. So nearly 4 wide just in the background as all these drivers that did not pivot, that are on old tires, started to slowly but surely filter to the tail end. Into the outside wall goes Deal. Ryan Dingler throws one down the inside of Cole Freilich, setting the fastest lap of the race, 39.71 last time by. And now, the 62, taking it up the inside of Jeffrey Souza. Cole Freilich looks to make it 3. So Purcell starting to slide back, and Souza's been able to hold on a bit longer, but looking like he may very well be falling victim to the same thing as Dingler will now look to drive around the outside and take his teammate Grant Peterson with him. Meanwhile, that 62 car really trying to apply the pressure on points leader Holden McGill for the lead. And the Wendy's Camaro takes the lead. Late chop there for the 62 as McGill took a bit of an earlier entry point to turn 3. Freilich gets by McGill for 2nd. Dingler trying to get around McGill for 3rd. Now Freilich challenging for the lead. Contact between the two. The 62 forced back in line. The 26 rocketing away. Changing hands with the lead here about like every 2-3 laps. It is thrilling action that we've got kicking off. And again, this is exactly why we put this race, this season finale, at such a historic circuit. We may not be able to enjoy the thrilling racing that Auto Club threw up in the real world, but my God, can we ever do it in iRacing? As these guys are hungry for whatever spots they can muster. And McGill and Peterson trying to work together to keep Spencer Ray behind a lot of them. All the while, Freilich stolen a decent drive up the road as lots of swapping of positions and swapping of lanes as drivers go from top to bottom, bottom to top. JD takes it 3 wide up the middle. Trying to take 2 for 2 for the race lead. Spencer Ray way down low. He's trying to take the lead for the first time tonight. Can't get it done. It's not going to stop him trying, though. Spencer Ray back to the inside. Forced to back out, though. Could not make the move happen. Right now, it is very much a waiting game. Freilich and JD remain side by side. Each lane with its own respective pusher. Every lap, it feels like we're racing for the last one. I mean, these guys are going all out in the final race. Everybody knows, I mean, this is the last race. Wherever you finish, that's what you get. So they're not wanting to take a chance here and find themselves down and out. You got to take what you can get sometimes, and a lot of drivers looking to take, not a lot of drivers looking to give right now. Three wide again for second place now. This time McGill forced to yield. And Dingler will do the same. Sandy McGill back to the bottom. And Dingler back to the middle. 3 wide again for second. And Freilich into the outside wall. Big problems for Freilich as he'll scrape the outside wall coming off 4. But the 62 car still lunging this one down to the end. Oh, Dingler not giving him room to work with. JD tried to go for that middle lane. Dingler made it so it was the hole. 4 wide. 4 abreast for the lead for a moment coming around turn 2. McGill and Dingler single it out. But 4 abreast. And they cannot get this battle sorted. McGill to the race lead. Take a look. Coming out of 2. As they go 4 wide for the race lead. Still going left, right, front, and center. They tried for 4 wide again into turn number 3. It didn't work. McGill and Peterson now duking it out for the lead. As Cole Freilich finally started to lose some of that momentum. Man, this is go big or go home night, it appears, as McGill, and in fact a lot of drivers, not too much self-preservation going on. Right now, it is an 8-car battle pack for the lead, and all 8 separated by less than a second. McGill scrapes the outside wall. Dingler and Peterson trying to battle back. We are racing every single lap right now like it is the last one, and it is incredible to me that these guys have been embroiled in such a tight battle for so long. At a track like Auto Club where draft is king, it is impossible to break away from anyone, which gives us this absolutely phenomenal race. And I can guarantee you a lot of these drivers having the time of their lives right now, racing it out this hard in the final race of the season, making sure that we put on a show. McGill, Dingler, Peterson. Still line astern as we enter turn numbers 1 and 2. A little bit further behind, there's a second battle pack of 4, headed up by Kaiser, Morton, Souza, and Pirog. Everyone else, single file, save for Nathaniel Ames and Frank Flores, who are fighting for 15th way down the road. Ryan Dingler now trying to go around the outside. The inside didn't work, so the Hector Camry going to try to lunge that one up and in. Spencer Ray grinds to the outside wall, coming off at turn 2. Ryan Dingler pokes the nose in front. McGill battling back on the inside. And the number 8. Can he pull clear down the front straightaway? And he's going to try and forward, but he couldn't pull clear. Now has to try to pinch McGill down to the bottom at 1 and 2. Spencer Ray and Cole Fraley both getting crossed up, and they're still 2 abreast. Grant Peterson trying to now find a hole as he gets to take a front row seat to all the action at the head of the field. I think finally we're going to somewhat settle it out, is that we're not going to be 2, 3, 4 wide. But side-by-side racing, never too far away. And all of that action before we are even halfway home. For about 5 laps now, these two have been side-by-side in their dogfight for the race lead, and McGill will drop back to 3rd as Peterson will quickly take his place. And finally, Dingler clears for the race lead. As they say that, Grant Peterson tries to power back to the bottom. Oh, whoa, that's 62. Getting into the back of McGill coming out of turn number 2 and thundering down the front stretch. And Peterson now sliding up across the nose of his teammate. A scrape to the outside wall, and Dingler keeps at it. Grant Peterson will be the first driver in a long while to be able to successfully clear for the race lead and in full, not just by about a bumper or so, but it'll only be for about a straightaway because McGill will immediately take it back to the inside. I'm going to be out of breath by the end of this race, you know, because these guys just do not know when to give me a break. $60 laps to go next time by and 10 to go in stage 1. lap 50 going to 51 will be when we set the top 10 for their final bonus points of the season. Dingler thought about looking low, but there wasn't a room. McGill still occupied the inside line, so he'll once again try to size up the top. Badger Racing right now runs 1, 2, 3, and 4, dominating the top 5. McGill will shoot to the inside of Dingler into 3 and 4, and he'll try to pick off Grant Peterson for the race lead. Although Dingler going to give that back bumper to the 52 and push him all the way down the front stretch Pocono style into turn 1. The 8 and the 52. Now you got Musati just behind. Spencer Bray as well, all trying to make moves. Oh, and into the outside wall for a moment goes Musati as he could not get that car off the wall. Coming out of 4. JD makes it 3 wide down to the inside. McGill will tuck it in line, and he'll now have to try to take that one back to the middle. Meanwhile, for Anthony Musati, can he establish that momentum run down the back stretch and in towards turn number 3? Dingler gives that little bit of a nudge down to the turn number 1, and now, again, Grant Peterson on a big charge. Dingler into the outside fence. And Grant Peterson way out with the lead, now shoved by Holden McGill as they're trying to run down Grant Peterson into turn 1. And look at how close Musati gets to that outside wall. But at how close, that drags him all the way to the back bumper of the 52. He'll now take it down low. Grant Peterson waiting in the wings as Musati will slide through with race lead, and oh, into the outside wall will go the 49. He will not lead his first lap of the race. It'll go back to Grant Peterson. And Holden McGill shoves the 52 back through. All of this in the top 6, still just a second apart. Really puts into perspective just how much ground these race cars cover so quickly, and just how packed up and how evenly mashed a good chunk of the top of the field is, at least at a track where you can't break away. The 21 car snaking back to the inside of Grant Peterson. Trying to track him across the bottom. Here comes the crossover. Peterson back to the inside. Holden McGill trying to gun it down low as well as the 52. Takes that one deep in down low on the inside line. Tracks up, and Holden McGill looking to cross him back. 4 laps to go in stage number 1. And for a driver like Jeffrey Souza, that pit window is going to be approaching pretty quickly now. '52 still shoving the 21 in towards turn 3. 2.5 more trips around, and the final stage points will be awarded as the 21 car trying to carry this one up and around. Starting to finally build out that gap to Grant Peterson. I think all McGill's got to do is win this stage, and then that is going to effectively make it official. Ryan Dingler will be too far back. Even if he wins and McGill finishes last, he would still have it. So this is for all the marbles with a lap and a half to go. We take the final lap, this time by lap number 50. Holden McGill trying to keep Grant Peterson at bay one more time as we approach halfway. And the driver of the badge racing number 21 will pick up the last stage win of the season. Holden McGill with 10 extra bonus points, and that should clinch the championship as well, as he'll cross the start-finish line. Peterson second, Ray third, Musati fourth, JD fifth, then Dingler, Freilich, Kaiser, McColgan, and Deal to round out the top 10. While the top 6 battle may have been breaking apart, this battle for about 10th to 13th has still been raging strong as Jeffrey Souza tries to get up and around Sean Deal. Barrett Morton sliding it out in turn 2. Devin Pirog tracking down with him. Although still, where did he end up going? Jeffrey Souza will take it to pit road, this time by past halfway. And at this point, he will have 49 laps to go. He's gonna have to do a lot of fuel saving to make this work to the end of this race. But you know what? If he can make this work, it'd be a one-stop strategy and the only driver that would get it done. I'm just not so sure this is gonna be the way to do it. So Souza down and into the pits. McGill and Moore still working out of the final quarter. You take a look at the pit strategies through this race so far, and still about 10 laps away before we see everybody else into pit road. And by the time they're coming into pit, they're going to be good to go to the end. So with all of that said and done, you've got yourself with some great green flag racing action. And now it comes to the strategy with stage number 1 in the books. We now get to see who's going to come out on top in the season finale of the L-TAC Cup Series. You're watching the finale from Auto Club on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
still under green flag conditions with now green flag pit stops underway. We've already seen Dingler and Peterson come down. Sean Kaiser and Devin Pirog are now the next two drivers to take their cars into pit road. Frank Flores, Stefan Purcell in as well. So stops coming a bit earlier than anticipated, but still within that range to be able to make it towards the end of this race. So for a lot of these folks, it's just a matter now of trying to get themselves sorted to the end of this race. Now the big question is, when does Holden McGill make his trip into pit road? Ryan Dingler, of course, came down first, and he's now going to be out on a lot fresher tires than Holden McGill is for sure. Cole Freilich, another driver that is coming into pit road this time by. So for the most part, a lot of drivers are looking to make these stops sooner rather than later, not wanting to waste too much time running on old rubbers past that halfway mark. And we are within that window to stretch to the end of this race anyway, so I think a lot of folks, instead of wanting to run that tank dry, they're just thinking, yeah, I mean, what the heck, let's just go for it. Justin Wilson, the next driver to duck down into pit road. And now Austin McColgan will also bail and take it into the lane. Kind of locking it up as well as he came down. Frank Flores and Stefan Purcell in the side-by-side battle at the moment as they work their way out of down the front straightaway. Both these drivers have already taken their second and final pit stops of the night. So they're just looking to get themselves sorted and cycle out back to where they were before this pit stop window kicked off. Nathaniel Ames is also in the fray. So Purcell, Flores, and Ames going to continue to duke it out as more and more drivers make their way into pit road. Holden McGill is among the drivers that is currently down and in. So take a look, and we'll pull up Ryan Dingler compared to Holden McGill's position on the racetrack. Dingler working his way down the front stretch. This is the battle for the net race lead as Dingler trying to cycle through and has to try to best Holden McGill coming around through turns 1 and 2. Dingler's been charging on that fresh rubber, but I don't think if he's going to be able to get out there before McGill can get up to speed. It's going to be tight. He'll close in, but McGill will maintain that position, although he will cycle behind Grant Peterson and Anthony Musatti. So right now, Grant Peterson sits as the net race leader way up the road. JD and Sean Deal also into pit road. And Spencer Ray, the overall race leader, will now come down to the pit road. We are now just waiting on Barrett Morton and Josh McDougall, along with Jeffrey Susan might be able to make it, but Barrett Morton, we are still waiting on to come down and into pit road. He will become the new race leader, although not enough to actually lead a lap. So this 9 car will be the last driver waiting on to come down into pit road. Meanwhile, battles on between McGill and Ryan Dingler as they're scrapping for 5th and 6th. This is the tightest battle for position on the racetrack. And Sean Kaiser trying to get around Josh McDougall. And now charge up to the back bumper of Spencer Ray, a lap car. Bear Morton and Josh McDougall will be the last 2 drivers to duck into pit road, and that will complete the pit stop cycle for the what should be the final run of scheduled stops of the evening. And that will put Grant Peterson fully into the race lead, Musadi second, McGill in third, fighting that with Ryan Dingler for the final podium position. As it stands, 18 cars started this race. All 18 are still in the running. 14 remain on the lead lap, and Barrett Morton was held for a long time. Caught for speed, and I believe this would have been on pit entry. So we'll take a look back to find out what happened to Barrett Morton coming into pit road. Oh, yep, right there. Kind of got a little bit caught as he was getting down to the binders. Then this was Devin Purog a few laps earlier. Same problem, and way too hot. In fact, he looped the back end and went into the pit wall. It's a bit of a wild pit entry there for Devin Purog, but for the most part, we'll keep this race under green flag conditions. So far, the lone caution of this race came out on lap number 15. Anthony Broussard got into the back of Cole Freilich and spun himself around and into the inside wall. He spun himself back onto the racetrack, which is what actually brought the yellow flag out. We have been racing under green flag conditions ever since. Big battle between Sean Kaiser and Cole Freilich as they'll scrap it out going back and forth, side by side, coming around turn number 2. Kaiser sweeping back underneath the 26 and trying to hang on to a top 5 spot. On about the same time as they pitted 1 lap apart. So they're going to keep on keeping on. We've got 30 laps left to go from the Auto Club Speedway. So these guys are making some pretty good action despite this being so deep into this race. And now Spencer Ray getting into the fray as well, making this now a three-way fight for the top 5 position. 5th, 6th, 7th. All tucked up line astern, and now Spencer Ray to the inside, entering turn numbers 1 and 2. Spencer Ray gonna drive to the bottom. Cole Freilich trying to make a move as well. 3 wide, down to turn 3. Freilich takes that one in deep on the bottom, but Spencer Ray pulls clear from the middle, and the driver on the freshest tires blitzes through. So Spencer Ray finally able to kind of drag out this little bit of a gap here as everything is getting in line, as Sean Deal and Austin McColgan now squeezing each other in towards the outside wall. Sean Deal working up to the top side of the racetrack, trying to get around the 23, and McColgan way down low. Going to be maybe forced to let Sean Deal through here. Trying to chase after that 44 car way down to the inside, but not going to get there. Already can see Deal. Well, I say start to pull away. Now Deal gets loose, and here comes McColgan skating back to the bottom, trying to get up and around the number 44. 25 laps to go this time by. Austin McColgan gets by Deal for the top 10. Meanwhile, McGill and Bussati now. The two Badger Racing teammates going to exchange hands for a second. And Bear Morton back into pit road for a second time. How about Frank Flores and Stephen Purcell in the battle of their own? Flores down to the inside of the 57 car. Can he pick him off? And punches ticket into the top 12. Oh, Purcell scraping the outside wall. The 88 car down to the inside. Can he hang on against Purcell? Purcell trying to fend him off from the top shelf, but Flores really giving it the beans down to the bottom. Towards the front, Cole Freilich, Sean Kaiser scrapping it out as well. 6th and 7th place. Freilich in hot as Kaiser trying to cross him over and get a good launch down the main straightaway. Everywhere you look, there are still battles everywhere that are picking up. Deal and McColgan, by the way, have not settled down at all. They are still looking to duke it out. And all with the lap car of Devin Pirog in the wings, trying to get around the both of them. Oh, Sean Deal gets a bit tight, washes up. McColgan has to botch his line in order to avoid the 44. And now Pirog's got a choice of who does he help. And it looks like he'll lend assistance to McColgan. As well as that, Dingler and Ray. now duking it out for 4th and 5th. Man, oh man, I mean, the racing is still awesome, even in these closing laps. And behind again, I mean, McColgan and Deal just cannot get alongside each other. Oh, Pirog into the outside wall in the big way. Oh, and now contact between Deal and McColgan. Banging doors down the front straightaway. Going at it as Pirog trying to still find a way around it. I think he's trying to help out McColgan to get a good drive going around the top. The problem for Pirog is, oh, McColgan around! Fully loses it on the back straightaway. Noses it into the outside wall. And that will force a caution flag. 20 laps to go and the yellow flag is out. As Austin McColgan goes around off of turn number 1. Take a look back. And this was all by himself as that 23 car just got unsettled up the track. Got up towards that outside wall and spun the back end and then noses it into the outside wall and slides it to a stop on the back straightaway. And then while this was all going on, I'm pretty sure I saw somebody else spin off down to the inside of the racetrack. All right, not spin around, but Bear Morton went way down low. Wanted absolutely nothing to do with that. At speed and from the air. Yep, just going to loop that back bumper, spin it around, and then tags the inside wall. Or the outside wall. But man, put the yellow flag out one more time. Second caution of the day with 19 to go. And now this is an all-out grudge match. And here comes the field down pit road. Looking to make those last critical stops. And this is money stop time now. How do you handle yourself? What is the strategy call that you go with? Two tires at least for a good chunk of the field. Musati overshoots the box, costing himself precious time. And looking like 4 will be the way to go for most of the drivers in this field. This is why you always leave that set in the back pocket for later. Grant Peterson wins the race off pit road. Peterson just barely taking up the lead from Holden McGill. Ray, Dingler, Freilich, Kaiser for the top 6 as they work down towards turn 2 down the backstretch. Caution's out for the second time. It's about to get wild in the West. We'll be back in a moment on Green Flag TV. Well, it comes down to this, a 16-lap dash to the end. Holden McGill will have the inside as Grant Peterson picks the top for the restart. Pace cars off, this time by. We're ready to go back racing. Green flag is in the air. 16 laps to go in the championship finale. Peterson and McGill trying to duke it out for the race lead. Ryan Dingler looking for the middle line. Green wide has been the name of the day, and oh, a lot of bobbling around going on. McGill blocks Dingler down the backstretch. The 21 car not wanting to leave it in. And Grant Peterson charging around at the top. 3 wide, 2 rows deep in the background. 6 cars breaking away with the top spots. Half a second separate them. And all that battle that got split up before is now right back together, and all with fresh rubber. Into the outside wall goes Ray. Shoved in there by Holden McGill, big time. And we nearly had it coming together. That caused caution number 3. Take a look. McGill tried to get into a hole that was never there. Oh, now to the outside wall goes Peterson. Spencer Ray on a big charge as he tries to take this one down to the inside. Picks up 52, trying to get in there after the 8. Ryan Dingler trying to go down low, trying to see if he can cover off the 1. Down the back straight away. Dingler remains with the lead. Ray dropping back to 3rd as Peterson picks up 2nd. And he'll get unsettled and almost tag the outside. Well, I think he did tag the outside wall. Thundering down the front straightaway, showing no yielding at all throughout this field. Man, a huge block from Peterson to keep Freilich behind. And that bump will send Peterson to the inside of Dingler. Bouncing down the backstretch as Dingler maintains his run to the lead. Peterson got up to 2nd briefly. Quickly forced to drop back. Now Freilich attacking from the outside once more. And Sean Kai's, oh, trouble! Oh, the points leader! McGill spinning into the infield grass! Big trouble for the main driver in the championship. He'll tag the inside wall. And no caution will keep it green, but big problems for Holden McGill, as he is forced into the infield. Just got pinched in and then hooked across the nose of Spencer Ray. I don't think this is going to impact anything. Holden McGill had a big enough points gap to work with. But boy, that is not a pleasant sight. He will need a caution if he wants to get himself back up into the running order. Freilich down to the bottom. Ryan Dingler trying to pick off 2nd. Dingler to the inside. Secures the spot from Freilich. And it'll be 10 laps to go at the line. Freilich back to the top, pushed by Grant Peterson. May have been Freilich that was pushing McGill down. Let's take another look back. But that is a huge yikes as the points leader. Oh, it was Grant Peterson that pushed the 21 down. And did he? Oh, I think he actually kept that out of the outside wall. So good job on the 21. But the 8 and the 26 still battling. Dingler just barely finds the hole to tuck in between Freilich and Peterson. Freilich, Dingler, Peterson, all still packed up line astern. The only way McGill gets that win now that he so desperately wanted for the end of his season is a caution flag. And there's still a lot of chances to get one as we go 3 wide for the lead down the pit straight. Dingler yields at the top side, put it now Grant Peterson to the point. With Freilich trying to chase him down, but he's going to clip the outside wall. And we single file the battle for the lead out once more. Dingler goes back to the inside line. Sliding up the track and almost into the door of the 52. And now Freilich looking to make a move as well. That's goodness gracious. JD with a chop on Kaiser. This is the type of racing action that you want to see in a season finale. Just all out from one wall to the other every single time. Nobody's playing conservative. Nobody is trying to hold back. Everyone is all out bringing their A game tonight. 6 to go. Ryan Dingler still trying to hang on to a podium with JD trying to chase him down on the bottom side. Sean Kaiser just in the background. Can he? Oh, he's trying to force 3 wide. Oh, trouble, there it is! Ames spins around to the outside wall, and that's the caution McGill needed. This race isn't over, and McGill with a chance to get one last shot at glory. That will force us into overtime attempt number 1, I do believe. As big problems for Nathaniel Ames entering turn number 3. Chased by Devin Pirog. Pirog just hooks him in the left rear, spins that 40 car around, and Ames noses it into the outside fence. Backs it in immediately after before coming to a rest against the outside wall. At speed. It's a pretty hefty lick that Ames took there. We'll get it right on board. That's all it takes. Just that little nudge. And this will be with Devin Pirog, who will remember is the lap down. Just look for the inside. That was the worst time to do it. Purcell, Wilson into pit road. McGill will pick up a top 10 again. And he is going to be absolutely gunning for it here to try to get himself up and into the race lead. It'll be a 2-lap dash to end it all. 6 miles of racing action left. at Auto Club Speedway. We'll be back in a moment. Lights out, 1 lap to go. We will still be finishing this race under regulation time. It is a Nat green-white checkered. We are not into overtime yet. Grant Peterson again with the lead. We'll start on the top. Looking to link up with his teammate Ryan Dingler to see if they can control the pace from the front. The championship has, for all intents and purposes, already been decided. The only question is going to be who is going to take victory with one final race and one final restart left to go. That is if we make it back. We have 3 overtime attempts if we don't make it back to the white flag. Pace car's off. Green flag's out. 2 laps to go. Ryan Dingler trying to chase after Grant Peterson as they work their way into turn numbers 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Peterson clears to the top. Lot of movement at the tail end of the field. Holden McGill way to the inside, trying to pick up spots. White flag is out. Final trip around and the final lap in the L-TAC Cup Series season. We will finish this final race under regulation time. Dingler's got one chance to send it in deep, and it's going to have to be coming around 3 and 4. Will Grant Peterson go for the dummy? Or will he try to block? Peterson into 3 and 4. Dingler trying to set up an over-under. Lunges it in. Dingler round the top. Trying to pick off Grant Peterson. He will not get there, though. Grant Peterson wins the season finale. But for Holden McGill, he can now proudly call himself a 3-time L-TAC Cup Series champion. Absolutely thrilling way to end this race and end this season as Holden McGill takes a back-to-back championship with Season 4, and in doing so picks up his 3rd. And what a way to get it done as the field celebrates in typical L-TAC fashion with their post-race antics. Absolutely phenomenal drive for Holden McGill and everyone else involved. Could not have asked for a better way to close out the racing action here tonight. Holden McGill will burn it down as a 3-time champ on the front stretch. After a very wild way to close out racing action here tonight, let's take a rundown of your official post-race results in what was by far one of the more memorable final races that this championship has ever had. It was Grant Peterson who may have taken the race win, with Cole Freilich in second and Ryan Dingler in third. Spencer Ray was fourth with Sean Kaiser in fifth, but Holden McGill taking the stage win and finishing out in sixth will clinch the championship in the final race, with JD in seventh, Sean Deal in eighth, Austin McCulkin was ninth, and Frank Flores rounded out the top 10. Stephen Purcell was in 11th with Nathaniel Ames in 12th. Justin Wilson was in 13th, the last car on the lead lap. Musati, Pirog, Souza, Morton, and McDougall will round out the field. All 18 cars being able to say they finished off the racing action on a high from the Auto Club Speedway. Well, we'll get the chance now to go back and talk to some of the drivers here that finished out this race. We'll, of course, talk to the race winner and the runner-up, and then we will be giving a chit-chat as well to the likes of your overall season champion, Holden McGill, at season's end. But first and foremost, you know what? We'll save the best for last this time by. Let's talk first to the guy that won this race, Grant Peterson. He is the driver that comes home taking the final race in Season 5 of the Cup Series. And Grant, what a wild final 20 laps it was. Walk us through it.
Oh, I don't even know where to start, man. That was some of the most intense racing I've ever been a part of on here. It's a very, very, very fun track. I hope this track never leaves iRacing. Yeah, I mean, you could use really any lane you could in those final 20 laps to put yourself in position, and then obviously had that last caution for that green-white checkered, and then from there it was just having to watch my mirror, and watched it good enough, it looked like.
Overall, I mean, the yellow flag came out at a bit of a strange point, at least later on in the race. Obviously, it was looking like it was going to be going pretty much green to the end. And with that, a lot of you guys, I noticed, kind of pitting well shy of that 46-lap target that had been set for the fuel earlier on. What was the reason behind that?
I just saw people short pitting a little bit before then, so I said, screw it, I might as well try it. Worst that's going to happen is I'm going to lose a couple spots. But it obviously worked out really well for me. Came out on top of that, and then Holden was reeling me there at the end of that stint, and then we had that caution where everything changed, and I still was able to maintain that lead.
Overall, you're able to come home with this race pretty far up in the point standings, all things considered. You enter this race in the top 4, and I believe this may very well propel you into the top 3 of the championship. So a great way to close things out. But there's a lot of changes coming on up at L-TAC from what I've heard kind of behind the scenes, and a potential complete overhaul. Will we be seeing the 52 car back with whatever endeavors this league gets up to next?
It depends on what the endeavors are. I'm certainly not willing to completely write it off. If there's anything really fun that's enticing, I'll probably be back for sure.
Well, fair enough. We'll hope to see you back then at a later date. And for now, we'll wish you a big congratulations on taking the final win here of season number 5.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Grant Peterson, the driver out of Altoona, Iowa, taking home the race win tonight. And that will let us bring down Cole Freilich, a driver that was really looking to fight this one out with some of the best of the best. I mean, Cole, you made up the most spots out of anybody today, +9. But, boy, that second place did not come easy for you tonight.
No. Turns out I suck at running the bottom of a racetrack, and I'm really good up top. So I'd be really good on the start of a run. Say tops up here, bud, pass everybody, and then everybody passed me back because then I burn up everything I had. But, yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, I didn't think I was going to get Ryan there for second, and he slipped off 4, and I got under him. I had to go pretty much on the grass to try to do it, but I got it.
Kind of walk us through this race as a whole, because as far as Auto Club races go, I mean, this was both everything you'd expect it to be and also everything more than you'd expect it to be. I mean, especially in those first 30 laps, it looked like you were duking it out on a green-white checkered finish.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This track's so weird, especially with the next gen, because, like, I mean, I've run Gen 4, I've run ARCA, I've run every single stock car here. And for some reason, I don't know how to drive the next gen on the bottom of the racetrack. So that was a little bit confusing. And I was in practice. I was like, oh, I ran a 40.5. I suck. And then I ran a 40.0 in qualifying, I think. And I was like, oh, we're good. I'm second. And then suddenly everybody went faster. And I was like, oh, I really do suck here. So I kind of just was like, well, I'm going to throw it up top. If I'm slow, I'm slow. If it works, it works. Luckily, put us up in good position there, and then we got that really late yellow with, I think, 15-ish to go, and I was like, all right, I got a fresh set of tires. We'll just stick to what we've been doing. I'm good on a short run, so. And then kind of got to a point where I think Grant was going to be way out there if we didn't have the yellow, but I was going to be comfortably in P2. Then we had the green, white, checkered, and I didn't expect Grant to go to the top, and I was like, well, crap, I got to kind of watch when he goes, and he went early. I mean, I was expecting a restart zone, not that early, but yeah, luckily it worked out. Luckily I fended off Spencer. Spencer was coming on strong there towards the end of that one.
And of course, with this being the end of the L-TAC Cup Series' 5th season, what is next in store, I guess, coming up in the coming weeks and months for that 26 car?
Well, I'm gonna run a handful of leagues. Hope to be back here. Gonna run some OSRL, run some FTF, run a little bit of everything under the sun. Run what I can. And I'm going out to Tucson, Arizona next month to work for Kart Chaser. So if you're a fan of kart racing, check out the Rotex West Championship from Musselman Honda Circuit. Should be March 22nd through 25th or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so should be a fun time. Should be cool and get to watch a bunch of up-and-comers start racing at the grassroots level, which will be neat.
All right, well, we'll get set to see you then hopefully on track whenever we see you next. For now, congratulations on taking the runner-up spot in the final race of the season, and we'll see you whenever we see you on the track next.
All right, appreciate it.
Cole Freilich joining us up here from the number 2 spot on the podium, and that will take us down to the 3rd and the final driver. And this is an interview that I have been waiting to do ever since we dropped the checkered flag in race number 1. Holden, you come home at the end of the night, 6 race wins, 14 top 5s, and out of the 19 starts this season, you only failed to finish outside of the top 10 twice. Nothing short of an absolute domination of the field here in season number 5. Walk us through this very intense season finale.
Yeah, just tried to save tires while everybody was going hard to try to take the lead and just bided my time, sat near the front, and then once tires started to become a factor, I'd moved to the front, and that's pretty much should be all she wrote from that point.
You're able to take a 3rd championship here in the Cup Series, and the first back-to-back champion that this league has ever had as well, finishing both in Season 4 and Season 5 on the top step. What does it feel, I mean, getting to add another notch to the record?
It's nice. Feels about like the other 2, I guess. So, good accomplishment. There's some good drivers here.
And I know that going forward, there's a lot of changes coming on up for L-TAC as a whole. I know for the most part, it's almost a guarantee that we may very well be moving away from the Cup cars next season and potentially just changing things up altogether, going from the ground up. Will we be seeing this 21 car making a return anytime soon?
Probably not for a little while. I'm wanting to kind of shift my focus to some other stuff and I feel like I've accomplished all I can really accomplish here, so time to step aside and let some other guys have some fun.
Well, fair enough. We can definitely appreciate the humility, but you're a 3-time champion at the end of the night, and that is no doubt going to be a mark that is going to be hard for anybody to beat throughout the course of this league. Thank you for joining us up here tonight. Congratulations on taking number 3 and for a very successful final race of the season.
Thanks, buddy. We'll catch you later.
Holden McGill, the driver out of Clover, South Carolina, taking it home with the final race win on the season. What an absolute barn burner of a performance we had here tonight. This race had absolutely everything. It had thrills, it had spills. Up until about lap 40 or so, I was convinced we were not going to be getting a chance to breathe. Constant 3-wide action, constant 4-wide action as this field was duking it out top to bottom, over and over, going for every scrap of racetrack that they could muster underneath them. It has been a very long time since I've gotten to call a race this exciting at Auto Club Speedway, and it is, I think, fitting that it is coming to the close of our 5th season of competition that we get to have such a phenomenal race to bring home the season finale. The L-TAC All-Street Cup Series will have to say goodbye for now as they are entering their off-season for the next several weeks. Of course, that doesn't mean that you're going to be shy of action. The TNGGIL Truck Series has just kicked off last week. You can check them out on Saturday nights. They'll be racing at Atlanta Motor Speedway. The old Atlanta Motor Speedway is coming Saturday night. Of course, AS Sorrell Next Gen Cup Series will have their 5th race of the season at the Lernerville Speedway on Sunday. Then, of course, you have Ole Miss Sorrell. You've got the Beer League. You've got Speed. And then later on in the month, the Classic IndyCar Series will be kicking off its season opener on March 24th in the Circuit of the Americas. That and so much more is coming on up on Green Flag TV. So for myself and the entire L-TAC Racing League, it's time to say farewell. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Manola Rambo, bringing you all of the action from start to finish, and we will